Welcome all to Paragon Lore Theory. Paragon Lore Theory Space Era. Okay, the last video was the old era and all the heroes that I thought were affiliated with the era, that era. And now we're doing the space era and all the heroes that I think are affiliated with them. Obviously, by process of elimination, anybody that I didn't mention in the previous video is going to be part of this video because I do believe that the Paragon cast is split almost perfectly in half between old era heroes and space era heroes. So we're gonna start off the same way that we did in the last video, just alphabetical order, unless there are specific ties that some characters have with each other. First of all is Decker. Again, the way that I split up the heroes is basically just based on their costumes, based on their background, based on their abilities, just based on their overall feel. I mean, you can kind of take the background and their skins as first-hand information to let you know a little bit something about how they are, where they're from, their background and stuff like that. Other than that, it's just opinion. It's just speculation. It's just theory. So we have Decker. Decker is an explorer. She's a documenter. She's I don't know if anybody says. Think Hunter x Hunter, right? She's out there finding new areas, discovering beasts, discovering all types of things. She has the records for most entries in the Exotic Locales Codex, so she has been all over the universe. Um, she she has a fandom. She's respected. She's feared. And she has her little getaway. She has her little hollow viz that she goes to just spend some time. And it's kind of like what we do with our video games and stuff like that. She has a little hobby here and there. Obviously, very space agey, very energy, armor, energy, weapon. The one thing to know about her costumes is that she has an energized version of. She also just got this Arctic Frost, which is pretty badass. But she has an energized costume, and there is one other hero that's part of the Space Age crew that also has an energized costume, which is Twin Blast. Oddly enough. So there might be some type of. I mean, so let's go on to Twin Blast, right? Twin Blast, obviously has the energized variant, which kind of signifies that him and Decker have met, or are at least affiliated with common parties. Because they have energized gear. That changes their appearance, but like the whole lore of it, I'm gonna assume is that they have this whole um. There's a reason why it's energized, or it's just like an updated version of their current tech. Um, so and it goes. I mean, if we look at his lore here, he had talked his way out of 5 executions. So he's a wanted. He's wanted, good or bad. He's probably the father, which means he's gone around. He's kind of like Jack Sparrow, really. If you think about it, like he should have gotten the undertow skin instead of Gideon. But he also has affiliations with the Ying Mei cartel, which we'll be getting into later. But right now, I mean, we got into it because he has a skin that's similar to Decker, which hints at the possibility that they know each other. So going back to that affiliation, right? People that Decker might know, we have Gideon. Gideon, and this it's not fact that Decker knows Gideon, but in his background you can see right here, Decker suspects Gideon is not his true name. So it shows that Decker at the very least has an interest in Gideon, right? So has done some type of research, and she is that person, right? She is that explorer. She is that entrepreneur. She is that uh documenter type of person. So she's all about answering questions, right? And Gideon is a hero shrouded in mystery. So that probably isn't too dangerous to be around, unlike some other heroes covered in the mystery that are probably very dangerous to be around. But Gideon and Decker and Gideon and Twin Blast have some type of relationship. By the way, Decker, Gideon, Twin Blast, not that bad of a hero comp. 3 out of 5 heroes could be, those three could be on the team together. Um, but moving on to Gideon, since we're already on him, uh, originally I thought he was going to be part of the old era, but then I realized that holy shit, Decker knows him. Now this might just be because they met on Legacy Agora and soon to be Monolith Agora map. So that it might just be through that, but I'm going to go ahead and put him with the space era, because of that whole, because of basically just because of this, just because Decker and him know each other, and not only that, but he's witnessed the death of a star, right? So that says that he's been in space at the very least, or has some means, maybe astral projection or something, which is very likely for Gideon. But he has ties with space. He's seen stars die. Decker thinks that Gideon isn't his real name, things like that. So that's why he's part of the space era crew. Next up, of course, is Gadget. Why is Gadget part of this video? Because, well, she's a freaking robot almost. She has a giant robot back thing handle. I don't even know how to describe it. She is maybe not necessarily a criminal, but she does have issues with like commitment and a not so secret gambling addiction. She has issues with commitment because she joined a force called Mechanica and left a year later. I'm pretty sure that whatever that force is, it wasn't done at 16. It says she left, not that she graduated at 16. So she likes machines more than people, and undecided about androids. So she's definitely like that loner. She thinks she can do it all herself. So maybe she's a little young as well. She might be, that gorilla style. And talking about gorilla style, right? She does have a gorilla skin. So and I'm thinking that the Mechanica, training or whatever, it was probably some type of militarized program. Maybe that's like the space army or the space marines. The law enforcement for intergalactic space travel. Because we are in the space era now, so it might be very well that she tried to apply for that but failed, or she just quit. She didn't like to have to depend on other people and things like that. Moving on, we have Grim. Another one. I have a theory that him and Gadget probably know each other simply because they both have a bit of a gambling problem. He won Grim right here. This little guy, little pixie dude. He won .exe. He won X from a game of dice, a crooked game of dice at that. Not only that, but then he went ahead to use, and he used X to, I'm going to assume, is eliminate everybody that he had a debt from. Since he acquired X, all of his debts have been forgiven, either through intimidation or straight up execution, is what I'm going to guess happened. He does not look like a nice guy. He's playing crooked games of dice and things like that. Chances are that Gadget has, at the very least, been in the same bar. In that like Star Wars type, Obi-Wan shot first type of bars. This is a place that I imagine like a gadget would be hanging around, and would probably have some affiliations with the uh, with the Grim. Um, yeah, it seems plausible, you know. Um, if we move on here, just let his emote finish. If we move on, we go Howitzer next. Howitzer is this little guy here jumping into the mech. Um, Howitzer, I'm going to just assume he is a mad scientist, or he used to be some type of. We can't even see what he's doing because you can't see that far up with his Wayayada Wayayada emote. I mean, I'm guessing he's like, fist, like pumping his fist at somebody. Um, but if we see here, he's published an article on grenades, theory, practices, and aesthetics. So he's an explosives maniac. Um, he's blown off his ear, as we can see here, like literally blew his ear off, literally. Um, he's probably built this mech to allow him to satisfy that explosive urge that he has. Because of this whole kind of explosives type of motif, he's also probably one of those bar people, along with along with Grim and Gadget, just shady, just generally shady. Maybe not necessarily. Well, yeah, he is a criminal. He is charged with destruction, mayhem, and defacing public property. So he is wanted. He is wanted. Yeah, he's a straight up criminal. Next we have Iggy and Scourge here. Um, um, the thing about Iggy and Scourge is that it seems like the it seems like Iggy is the dinosaur, the beast, and Scorch is the little man. It seems that he's sentient. Iggy thinks he's an dinosaur. Scorch, they can communicate with each other. He has thoughts on his own. He has thoughts on his own. They are a pair that work together. And again, he almost like initially I almost thought he was going to be part of the older, but then I noticed he has a lot of tech. He has a prosthetic limb here. Iggy has like things attached into, like, this isn't something that old era type of people, and this isn't magic either. This is just straight up technology, right? Yes, turrets. This is tech. This is space tech, and he probably. I mean, this is explosives. This is explosives. Molotov cocktails are explosives. He probably met Howitzer at some point. They probably know each other. They probably are somewhat affiliated. Maybe Iggy went to Howitzer for a hookup. Iggy and Scorch, maybe they went to Howitzer for a hookup. Maybe that's how they got all of this crap. Maybe the turrets. Maybe, I don't know. I mean, Molotov cocktails aren't that hard to make, but who knows? I mean, it's just that a whole explosive theme, between the two of them lends to some type of relationship. The next space era hero is Kalari, and the only reason why I put her space era and not old era is because she's definitely some type of human robot android hybrid. Her hands aren't hands; they're robot. They're machines, right? Her blades are like part of her. This screams like Predator to me, right? Like, she's wearing a suit. She probably can survive in multiple atmospheres and not have to worry about, whether the atmosphere is hospitable to her, however she is inside the suit. If she even is a organic being, she might just be a pure robot. There's nothing really known or said about her, except that people believe certain things about her, and a lot of those things contradict each other. So there's nothing much to say about her. It's just she's a mystery wrapped in another mystery. So moving on, Um, and this is kind of like where the whole Decker Gideon Twin Blast triangle, ooh, kind of meets another triangle with Lieutenant Bellica, right? Lieutenant Bellica, obviously. Okay, am I supposed to be able to see something there? I don't know if there's supposed to be like a hologram or something popping up there, but she's just scrolling through nothing. Um, she, cause okay, remember back with Twin Blast, he has affiliations with the Yingmei cartel. He denies affiliations, but he's always drinking on their tab. So that means to me, that tells me that he has probably been hired by them at some point or another in his life, and has either um, maybe hired by the Yingmei cartel or hunted by the Yingmei cartel or something, and he's just doing that because he knows them. Maybe he's owed a favor by them, or he owes them a favor, and he's just trolling them, things like that. But that can be like a mischievous relationship with the Yingmei cartel, whereas Bellica, the Yingmei cartel straight up just have a bounty on her head, so they want her captured. Okay. Um. So I'm going to guess is that Lieutenant Bellica maybe, I don't know if she might have graduated from the academy that Gadget dropped out of. You know, maybe Gadget would have been a Lieutenant Bellica's character had she not left the Mechanica at 15. You know, maybe that's like I said before, maybe that's the Army or Navy version of this space era, you know, uh, world. Um, and obviously, with Bella, you can't talk about Bellic without talking about Murdoch. She's his lieutenant. Um, she he also has a bit of a tragedy in his life, um, which basically he forced him to re re-dive. Like the tragedy with his wife, I'm gonna guess, and his partner has probably wanted him to be like a solo soldier, a solo cop, and just be like all about work. Same thing with Bellica, as we see her personal life, the background tells us is a flaming mess. So these two people are very career oriented, and they have no type of coping or social skills. And yeah, they're just all about. They're just like soldiers. They're just straight up career soldiers. They're all about their job. Um, Chances are that Murdoch also has a problem with the Yingmei cartel, because he doesn't seem like the type to leave his lieutenant high and dry. If the Yingmei come after Bellica, maybe through Twin Blast, maybe they hire him and tell him to go capture uh, Bellica for us. Murdoch will probably be there to help Bellica out and not let that go through. Um, which brings me to, well, if there's a police force, right, in maybe what the Mechanica could have been, or maybe it's just a different force with Lieutenant Bellica and Murdoch. There has to be some type of prison, right? In come Richter. Um, he has a passion for the detention industry. Not only that, but he has a warden skin, right? A warden. What is a warden? A warden is basically the boss of the prison. So it's very likely that Bellica and Murdoch, you know, work for Richter, or maybe not work for Richter, but whenever they capture a criminal or an outlaw like Howitzer, or or Kalari, or a Grim, if they capture somebody, they send them to Richter's prison. You know, they maybe not, they might not be friends with Richter, but they most likely do. He seems to be like the warden of the maximum space detention prison for undesirables or something like that, right? And if Richter is that person, right? If Richter is that warden, then yeah, like that person that detains people, then you're gonna Steel is basically like his almost his exact polar opposite, right? Steel is going to be that person that can convince people like Bellica and people like Grim, you know, like opposite spectrum. Like he can convince people of law enforcement and criminals to rally together to actually, you know, to push whatever agenda they're trying to push. Um, he's just like a warrior leader, basically. You know, he's probably just respected all around. Um, Probably knows Decker. I mean, I'm pretty sure Decker knows most of the people, just because she is that explorer. You know, she's been everywhere, so she probably does have some affiliations with everybody here. Um, and the only person that leaves out is Muriel, and Muriel's just a robot. She is she's just an AI. She's not a person. She's just pure robot. That's all she is. I mean, I don't know how else. She's like an AI in that truest sense. You know, she is a real AI, artificial intelligence. She knows. She's conscious. She's self sufficient. You know, I mean, she still depends on people upgrading her or whatever, or helping her rework her modules and things like that. But other than that, she's completely self-sufficient. You know, she might. I don't know. She's just a. I don't know where she would fit in the universe. She definitely not like a criminal. Like I'm gonna say how is her Iggy and Gadget are. She probably is more along the lines of Muriel, Decker, and Gideon, where they kind of just do their own thing. You know, the criminals being Grim, Kalari, Iggy, Howitzer. um, the detention facility people gonna be Bellica, Murdoch, Richter. Then Steel also probably does his own thing along with Muriel and then Decker and Gideon. So I mean that pretty much wraps up the space era heroes. It's really simple. I mean, there's a whole little Ying Mei cartel thing going on here with Twin Blast, Lieutenant Bellica, and Murdoch. Um, as well as a little relationship in terms of their tech between Decker and Twin Blast, and it, and another relationship between Decker and Gideon, in that Decker is obviously looking into him, trying to figure out his origins and whatnot. Other than that, Space Age heroes, they kind of doing their own thing. Steel's probably doing his own thing, Murrow's probably doing her own thing, Gideon's probably doing his own thing, and Grim, like I said before, these three and Grim are more than likely just, or these four, I should say, these four and Grim are a little outlawish. Maybe not necessarily criminal straight out, but definitely they would probably pop if Bellacore and Murdoch ran their identities through their policing database or whatever. So that's pretty much it for the Paragon lore theory videos. Just like I said, I think it's just split up between old era and space era, and I've said why I think that is. Where it's going to be interesting to see where this new hero is coming from. Based on this picture alone, I'm going to go ahead and guess space era, because it looks like This looks like a hand. You see the thumb here, finger, finger, finger. Um, and some type of weapon. This says crunch. This says crunch, and like a little face with spikes coming out the top. So I mean, he has to be either ranged or melee, right? That's the only type of two attacks that we have is either ranged or melee. Um, we'll find out when he comes out. Um, we got the last hero that came out was counted. She was physical damage and melee ranged. So he might be energy, another energy ranger, maybe. Oof, maybe. I mean, energy rangers are pretty strong. So, but just from based off this like his hand, he looks like he might be like a robot tech hybrid thing. So I would probably also put him in the space age based on this, but we'll find out more when he actually gets released or at least gets announced. We'll know enough to put him into one of the two categories. Alrighty, that's all. Thanks for watching.